So geology is for kind of like the sciencey students who are also interested in geography, so physical geography, so earth processes, earthquakes, volcanoes, that kind of thing. And it's very much like an applied subject, so it's this idea we take knowledge from science, take knowledge from geography, mix it together and we get this melting pot of geology. So we start off the course by looking at like basic geology, so plates, tectonics, earthquakes, volcanoes, that kind of thing. We then look at the main rock types, so sedimentary, igneous, metamorphic. Once we got that kind of basic knowledge, we start to build on that. So then we'll look at things like mineral reserves, oil reserves. We'll look at structural geology, hazard management, and we also do an optional topic on glaciation. So the Ice Age, it's like modern geology, what shaped the UK. So geology is formed of 3 exams. There's a practical paper where we'll actually be in a lab. You'll get physical samples, you'll have to do actual experiments and things as part of the test. The second one's a classic paper, so just a theory paper. The third one's a kind of synoptic paper where we get all sorts of interesting like applied questions. We have coloured maps, things like that. And then on the side of that we have the practical endorsement, which is a kind of like a separate qualification. So it's a series of practical assessments where we go through various different skills and you build on those skills, and it gives you this like portfolio at the end of practical experience that then gives you a kind of like a certificate on the side. So yeah, we do plenty of trips. We go on 4 in the first year, 3 in the second year. So we go to places like the Forest of Dean, the Malverns, down to Portishead. So they're all quite local. We hop in the minibus. It all ties into the practical endorsement and the current topics we're doing. So we've also this year for the first time set up what should be a yearly trip to Tenerife, and that's the earth scientists. So we go out with the environmental scientists and the geographers, and we go to Tenerife for a week looking at volcanic activity, the effects of volcanism, which is something in the UK is not as easy to achieve. So yeah, an exciting experience. Students who have the greatest success in geology will be doing one of the other sciences, so chemistry, biology, physics, potentially maths, often with geography, with that kind of like physical slant, environmental science, but very much in the kind of like sciencey niche tends to be the best successes. So I'd say each year we do get some students who go off to do geology, university, often go on to future careers in geology, but actually it's probably true for all geologists. They end up going into all sorts of areas, so it's very much an applied subject. So whether you end up in geology itself or end up in all sorts of other areas, what you end up doing is learning new skills, applying it, which is exactly what geology is about. So it's one of those kind of like enabling subjects that lets you go into all sorts of areas. So I started doing research at university, teaching undergraduates, which I enjoyed. And so I took that on to then do some work in schools. I actually trained as a primary science teacher. So I've worked my way up till sixth form teaching, where I've got into my like specialism of geology. It's what I trained at university. I've been teaching it for 8 years, along with environmental science. And prior to that, all my other teaching's been in the science field. So very much kind of like different areas, but always to do with the sciences. So I guess what I enjoy most is that because I teach quite a niche subject, the students that are coming along to do geology are very much into the subject, like it's their thing. You don't come along and just stumble across geology, it is something you're interested in. So all my students are always keen, they're interested, and as a teacher there's nothing more satisfying than teaching students who want to learn about your subject. So yeah, it's a lucky situation to have, I'd say.